the results on that, so hopefully we move that along. And maybe after all this time, we just put up a flex beam and some, that's all that was necessary. And some additional posts on that. Ackley Road is substantially complete. That goes from Wickham out towards the Consumer Reports testing facility, Consumer Unions testing facility. That had about 100 trees removed on it, and so it could be widened and graded properly, and lots and lots of processed stone was brought in on it. And it's actually going to be a very pretty ride when it's done, but it's not, not the close sides and everything. And the town crew did almost all the site work on it, and had a contractor in with an excavator stumping for us, and more and logging, or whatever they call themselves now.
Backwoods.
Backwoods did all the tree removal. So,
That road actually looks pretty darn good. I mean, that we used to always cut through that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, now you got a reasonable road going up through there.
And what we're doing on it, we hope, this is also being funded 75% through FEMA, so there's the outline initially, but work will be done, and we're hoping, and the intent is that we won't have to worry about it except for grading, and we won't ever have these erosion issues again.
Well, you did a lot of drainage work out
There was
too.
a lot of drainage work done with the permission of the budding landowners, which is primarily the East Haddam Fish and Game Club. So
I think that was the biggest thing out there. You got some drains underneath it before it used to go over the road.
yeah, I mean, well, any water that accumulated on the road was stuck between steep sides on it, and it just moved it all down. And it's actually much better for the environment, because now we'll hopefully drain properly, and we won't have all this erosion going into parts of the 8 Mile watershed. So I'm sure everyone's aware that the Castle Christmas is ongoing. It's on weekends until I think the 20th. 21st, 19th, whatever it is, that weekend before Christmas. And they have a new supervisor down there, which is helping with make sure things happen. And the Friends group there is also quite active. And so the Friends group got a lot of different organizations to come in and decorate it. So if you're in the area and need a place to take the kids or family or visitors, go ahead down. I think it's open 10 to 4. Keep that in mind. It's not the usual hours.
Oh, okay.
And, there's a lot of other little stuff going on, but that's the big thing. Of course, we have December 7th is the Village Stroll down here. I think we've got all the lights working.
Okay.
For the moment, anyway. And,
good.
There's quite a few activities down there, and that's going from 2 to 5. And the Labor Farms will have the horse and wagon there for hay rides, I believe. So, again, good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's nice to see so much activity on the roads here that is getting done here. And
yeah. So I mean, we did do some patching things, but it's a bad time of the year to do it. But there's a lot of stuff going on. So. Yeah.
No, I mean, just that list you read off there. That's a lot of work going on here. So, but anybody have any questions for the first selectman? No.
Sharon?
I heard it all last night.
Boring.
But oh, great! Thank you, Rob, because that certainly gives us a good idea as to what you're working on here. And the economic development tax incentive. I've asked Irene to basically look into that, and we do have a couple of applicants in here, and we'll see where they are. I'm expecting that probably next meeting we will probably have those on the table, at least one of them anyway. And on tourism committee, anything to report?
No, not a whole lot. I mean, I think with the Explore Connecticut Shoreline that some of us have seen the presentation on that. They're looking to basically bump up the tourism on the shoreline, and they've agreed to do municipalities rather than just a business exposure for that. I think as a
And that
committee,
was, that was a big one
we should
for us to get our foot in the door here.
look into getting that done.
Yeah.
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 And the cost is minimal over the course of the year. I think it's $400 or $500
Yeah.
to get us out there.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
really good value
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I also just like that we're keying in with the shoreline, so
Yeah.
they're including us with the shoreline here.
Mhm.
And that's
It-
where the
it-
tourism people
It
are.
is. It could be huge. I mean, with you know the castle, with the good speed. I mean, we've got all these people that
Yeah.
don't know what else is in town, and if this is an avenue to get those businesses out there to somebody wouldn't normally know, I think we should jump on it.
Oh, I think for the amount of investment we're talking about, we're gonna get a return on that investment.
absolutely.
And, I think that's really good, and certainly, you know, we have more good stuff to offer than
Absolutely.
anybody else has
Yeah,
got.
definitely.
And, so, you know, I when I go to these town meetings and they tell me what they have, and East Haddam is just way ahead of the game here.
Yeah.
And so, from the standpoint of tourism,
Yeah,
we have it. They have a lot more businesses than we have, but we got the base
Yeah,
that people are going to come from.
Yeah, but
So
it
I-
doesn't do us any good if anybody doesn't know about it.
Well, it doesn't know
And
about
that's
it.
where, you know, they're reaching out to the New Yorks, the, you know, Midwest, they're really reaching out there to get people to the shoreline as a destination.
Yeah, and you know, let's face it, the shoreline has.
It's
They got it.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the good.
It's very Mystic and very Niantic heavy right now.
Yeah.
So let's bring some up here.
Yeah, and Stonington. Stonington's heavy too.
Yeah, yeah.
I
on
mean,
the-
the
on the
Mystic,
website.
Stonington,
Yep.
and they seem to really do quite well
Mm-hmm.
with it. And well, I mean, I think that's a great exposure for us.
Absolutely.
To take and get in
Absolutely.
there. All right.
If you don't mind.
No, absolutely.
Does it come up, or a question actually, and I was impressed by their, that website and everything. Does it include Chester, the other 5 towns in the regional EDC? You're talking about the 5-town, Rivertown EDC as part of,
Yeah,
part of this Saybrook thing?
That is basically
Could be, if Chester decided to go with their municipality as an advertiser, if you will. If Deep River did, you know,
I think it'd be
everybody
great if
is
you
separately.
push that, so, because if you get them there, you might get them to here,
Right.
so.
Right.
that is on the agenda for our 5-town
Okay.
group to basically have a presentation by by them and see if we can't get as many of the group in it. And I think that the cost is reasonable. So
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance we could get some other towns interested. And
So the other thing I want to say is if you're doing this and you're putting your budget together, make sure you include that $500 for the, or
Absolutely.
yeah,
more.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
For money for reaching out.
absolutely. On that note too, I think we should expand the brochure that we print with all of the rest areas that are open now.
oh, you mean as far as distribution?
Distribution.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, because
I
we
think
do
do
run
expand.
them out pretty
Quickly.
much. So I think the last one we got was 5,000, I think.
Yeah, I think we should,
Maybe we should up it
Bump
to
that
maybe
up.
6 or something,
maybe even,
or 7, huh?
yeah,
Oh,
maybe even more than that.
okay.
I mean, if nothing else, with the rest area, the
Oh.
welcome centers.
That one in
that are
Westbrook
open.
has always
It's
been a
huge.
golden one
Yeah,
for us. I
yeah.
mean, we put them down there, and, I mean, we did that because a few years ago, we were getting 7,500.
Okay.
And then we cut it back a little because of that, and also the castle didn't take that many.
Okay.
And because the castle used to take 2,000.
Yeah.
And we dropped off 2,000 on there, and they'd disappear.
Yeah.
And
Maybe 2 boxes of them, they were gone.
gone,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that, it's a good time, because this is when we're working on the budget
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. And I'll basically see what that is, when we need to get 7,500 copies of that.
Yeah.
And, because I would sure like to get that Saybrook, Westbrook, area right in there.
I mean, they're in the Saybrook Chamber of Commerce too.
Yep, yeah.
Constantly bringing them some refills too.
Yeah, okay, good. And,
One more thing, Bob, if you don't mind.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna bring out you have the Chamber of Commerce building down in Saybrook,
Yeah.
which, as you said, is a good spot, but I think some of the other towns also have tourism, Chamber of Commerce buildings. So you
I'm
can-
pretty sure Westbrook has something.
Yeah, and so if you're working again in those things, it might be good to reach out to them and find out, or even get stuff into their town halls if
Yeah.
they're willing to take them.
Yeah.
Because,
Yep, and,
Then the last thing I was also gonna mention is the Wander Our Watershed. I don't know if you remember me talking about that several months ago. Wow, Wander Our Watershed but it's a interactive website that the 8 Mile has developed, 8 Mile Wild Scene Coordinating Committee, through a grant that came from the federal government. But businesses can get on there and you can go to the website, get more information, or you can contact Pat Young. But the idea is that if you're out hiking and you want a place to get lunch
Grab a sandwich, yeah.
or whatever, you can find it there, and you get your icon there, and then someone can hit that and you know, with their phone and everything. And, we'll tell you what's there, where you go to get coffee or whatever. And it's more expansive than just restaurants. It's stores, it's whatever. And as things come online or you get more and more people involved, you know, it doesn't cost anything. So
Even better.
Let's work
last
on
time I
that.
knew it didn't cost anything.
Yeah, let's work on that with the business association. Let's let them know, that's.
I brought it up there.
Oh,
too.
you did, okay.
But I think it's good to keep bringing the stuff up.
No, because it's actually getting it organized.
And you can go to Wander Our Watershed, you'll see
Okay.
what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Or you can
definitely
reach
take a look
out
at
to Pat Young at the 8 Mile group.
Is she on the board, or is that?
She is, I don't know what her title is, executive director or something
Okay.
like that, but she does all the work.
Okay, yep.
She's a supervisor and she does all the work.
Usually the way. But I think that would be a great
Yeah, I think
idea
that
to
would be
get
good.
some of the
tie-in.
businesses
Yeah,
on it,
yeah.
especially the ones that are with food service in any way.
Some are, or may already be on it. I forgot to tell you the truth, I haven't been on it in a while, but.
Yeah.
Well, let's see who's on it, let's see who else
From there,
might
yeah.
like to get on it,
Yeah.
and we'll make it
Including, you
easy.
know, Staley's should be on it,
Yep.
Cold Spring could be on it, you know,
Barbecue.
the barbecue,
Cats.
Town Tavern is right,
Yeah.
you know,
I
and
think that's
that,
probably already on it, I'm not
Okay.
sure, maybe not, but you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't hurt to, you know, check
Yeah.
in some of these places.
Even like a Santa
The
Bell's, I mean, just to
store,
go grab
the,
some,
produce,
yeah.
farmer's market out on the reservoir, I just slipped my mind, I can't think of the name.
What's the name of the website?
Colin's place out
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Wander Our
Bayberry,
Watershed.
right?
What's that?
Bayberry?
Wander
Bayberry?
Our
Well, then you
Watershed.
got, also you got.
Watershed?
Quinn's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all those things you can get out there, so Wander Our Watershed.
That's it.
Okay.
Wow.
Water,
Wander, WANDR, Wander Our Watershed.
now it makes sense.
And kind of along those same lines too is, I met with somebody from Shore Publishing this morning for something else, but she gave me some of the promotional things that they do. Why not put our holiday stroll in something like this? I mean, it's got a huge article on the Iverton illuminations.
Okay,
I mean, it's all.
yep.
I mean, this is going to cost money, but for something like this quarter-page ad, $400. And I forgot how many tens of thousands distribution that is. And then
Who prints this?
Shore Publishing?
Oh, Shore does, okay, so
They-
it goes in all their papers?
Yeah, it does. It goes in all the homes on the shoreline. It goes in all the newspapers, and then this is a little bit higher end magazine that gets distributed to $200,000 and up households. And I mean, it's obviously going to be a little bit more expensive, but you know, a quarter-page ad. I mean, I think you'd be looking at $800 or $1,000 on that for get some of those people for some of the restaurants and Fox Hop Yard and the Good Speed.
Yeah, and I think this is the key for us, is to get our name
We gotta
out
get
there.
out there.
And I think so long as we're pushing it for all the businesses.
Greater good, yeah.
You don't mind a $400 ad. And
Sure,
I'd like to,
but-
it's hard to feel what you get for return on that, but it's just getting your name out there and getting East Haddam out there. And
For something like the holiday stroll, I mean, I don't know what the final printing budget was for that, but if you tie something like this into it, the return could be huge.
yeah.
And then people come for something like this, and they'll say, you know what, let's go in the summer and see what's going on there in the
Well,
summer.
how many times we hear people will come into town and then say, wow, there's a lot more here than what I thought
Yeah.
there was.
Mhm.
And so, you know,
Sure.
we gotta get them here.
Yeah,
Get them
yeah.
across that bridge and
Mhm.
get them over here.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and then let's see what we can,
Yeah.
offer them and, to do, but,
But, I mean,
let's
I can
take it,
get,
cause that's gotta be, what is that, 25,000 people get that, the first one?
yeah, it's something
you're talking
ridiculous
about-
like that. It's huge. I mean,
I'm pretty sure that's all the way to Madison, I think,
Yeah.
gets that shoreline.
it goes, I think,
Madison,
Madison
Clinton,
to.
Westbrook, Saybrook, and then there's one in Old,
London, it goes that
Oh.
whole stretch, I think.
no, I don't think it goes past,
it's-
Lime and Old Lime, I don't think it goes
Okay.
past
Cause
that.
it's connected with the Day newspaper as well.
Right,
So it gets
the
into
Day
some of
owns
theirs.
that.
Right.
Maybe it goes over there too.
I'm pretty sure that it does, yeah.
Boy, that would be a
pretty
lot of
huge.
exposure.
Yeah. For-
You're talking,
Minimal cost.
you're talking 50,000 of
Yeah.
those things. Did it say how many of those go out? You ever
She
hear?
told me, I don't remember, but, I can certainly find out.
Yeah.
I
Let's
can
see.
certainly-
It might be right in the front, but. it's talking
Yeah,
about-
sometimes it does say.
I can
But
connect,
maybe that's something
with
but it was for the
Irene.
quarter page, it was
Yeah.
400?
400 for a quarter page ad.
I'd like to take and
Plus-
suggest that maybe we try that, next year to take
Yeah.
and, cause I
Yeah,
think
that
that's
doesn't
gonna
say-
be our thing, is to get, some publicity out. Cause, it's the old story, advertising does pay.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
So,
Plus, they're connected with
I
that.
think they do other seasonal publications.
They do.
So you-
This isn't the only
So don't
one.
just rely on it for.
the Christmas
For the
deal.
Christmas. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
You got the fall events and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't have a card.
All right, let's look, would you take a look at that for the board and
Yeah.
basically see if we wanted to do fall weekend
Mhm.
and we wanted to do the Christmas stroll?
Mhm.
And let's kind of, see what that would be, and maybe we can get that into our budget, and to get it under promotions, and, cause I think that, it's just like our fall weekend, we get a lot of
We get a lot of people
response.
here.
We get a
Yeah.
lot of response out of that, and I think it's the advertising that goes out and, reminds people that that's what's going on out there.
Mhm.
And,
Plus, they're connected with the that Zip06 website, and certain packages, certain printings, the price includes exposure on that website as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's that too. So
Yeah.
it's not just ink on paper.
Yeah.
I mean, you're out there on the web too.
Yeah.
Gotta keep increasing that bucket.
I know. But I also know what it's like on the other side there. They wanna decrease it. But no, I think we get a return though.
I think so.
I
mean,
think
if-
if we can spend $400 or $800, I think we're gonna get that
gonna be well
return.
worth it, yeah.
I think we'll get a return.
Mhm.
And, it's only when you get into that real expensive stuff, then it's hard to show a return, but,
Yeah,
but for $400
Something
per,
like that.
per season here, and get our name out there too, we're gonna promote a particular activity.
Yeah.
But we're also gonna get our name out there.
yeah, I mean,
And I just like, that's,
there's a calendar in the back with,
Yeah, with all your
everything
activities
in the
on there.
area.
Yeah.
Each, there's holiday shops, there's, come see our Christmas lights here. I mean, obviously, the highlight of this one is the Iverton one.
Well, the Iverton has done,
Another-
they have done, have you been over
Oh,
there?
yeah.
What a job they've done in that little center over there. It looks
Yeah,
beautiful.
it does.
It really, they've done, I give them a lot of credit. They did a beautiful
Yeah.
job. It fits in with what was existing there,
Mhm.
and yet they've
It works.
updated it. Well, they've updated it and made it look wonderful. And, I don't know who did the design work over there, but,
And I think it's all done gratis too.
Really? Yeah.
I think it's like it's either their business association or something.
yeah, it does a lot of
Started
that.
off very small and then they've added
Yeah.
to it almost every year.
Well, and then they got, all the money for the sidewalks and the lights and then all that, it came out of one of those grants, and, but they did it so tastefully,
Yeah.
and, it really looks great. I think they did a great job over there.
And then just
So-
one last, just on,
Yeah.
on the business association's behalf,
Yeah.
the donation for the business expo,
Yeah,
is that happening or is that
yeah,
a dead deal? Okay.
yeah, that happened.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, just got,
as far as I know, we approved it, and,
okay, we did approve it, but.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear anything after that.
Okay,
Okay,
all right,
I'll
it's,
check
let me,
I'll check
check
with
on
Jess,
it with Irene, cause Irene was going to, basically
That's-
get that
okay.
over to the business association. And I think that when we do this, we'll have to make sure that we, no, you gave me an invoice on
I
it.
did.
So
I did.
we
I sent
got
it to
an
you
invoice
and
over
Irene.
to basically Dawn, and so I'm relatively sure it went
Okay,
through,
yep,
but
just
let's double check and
double
make
check on
sure,
that, yeah,
because that money was supposed to go over for them and do that. All right.
Okay.
Have anything
No,
else?
thank you.
Okay. The EDC and P&Z subcommittee on the Lowertown Street area. At our last meeting, we wanted to see what a engineering firm would charge us to put this together, and that's what I just handed out around. And they basically gave us a briefing on what they would do for this. I think, what we're really looking for is a draft of a master plan for what you could do with it. And I think it goes back to what we were just talking about, is our tourism, and this is our tourism area down there. And, but I did like some of the stuff that, the public improvements that they were talking about, and, getting the safe pedestrian ways down through there. And that's on, that 2.0, and underneath that, you have the 2.1, public improvements. And I really found that to be a very inviting sort of thing. If I drove by and I saw, you have sidewalks and you have bike paths and you have basically areas made so where, we're looking to do something with some kind of a bus, of a tourism bus or something, to have a place where you can pull over. Do our parking so that you've got a place where you can park and everybody can see it when you're on Route 82. And basically you've got, the Rose Farm parking area there. And basically we're talking a little bit with Connecticut Landmarks about doing something for parking. So I think there's some real good energies around there, and I think some kind of interesting stuff to do. I know the project, I think, was $7,300, something like that. Too. 73, and
73.50.
so, oh yeah, 73.50. And so, I don't know what the board, whether they feel they want to spend, that kind of money to do something, to come up with a master plan for the area. It's kind of a necessity if we want to continue on with this and put it together. I think that I think we should, basically, let's go for it and let's see. I mean, obviously, we're going to have a meeting with the selectmen. We're going to have a meeting with the Board of Finance and basically make our case. But I think that it's it's the only way in which we can come up with a master plan of what we want to do. And I think there's enough with Staley's down there growing quite well, Connecticut Landmarks, I think, coming along, and then having the hiking trails that are down there with the Nature Conservancy lands down through there. So there seems to be a lot there, and I think that's something that we could take advantage of. So, but I'm going to throw that out to the board, and because we need a motion to move ahead with this and basically take it to the next step. And I will open that up for comment from anybody around the table here, what they would like to do.
I was at that meeting with him, Mike, and the things that he talked about sounded terrific, things that I know I hadn't thought of yet, that fit right into that area.
That, Jim, that's what I got out of that meeting. I mean, we've been here forever. Mm-hmm. And, here's when somebody from outside comes in and takes a look at what you got, and then, basically throws this ideas out on the table, and you think, God, I never even envisioned that, never thought of that. And I think it's always healthy to get an outside look.
So, I was just noticing the deliverables on that item. Draft design guidelines. Not sure what that is. And the final design guidelines.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
that,
know what design guidelines are. Sounds like a specification.
yeah, I think it gets into more detail as to, I think first we're doing is coming up with basically a draft design as to what we're thinking, and then basically that's what we would probably be presenting to P and Z, and then if, we got a favorable reaction from planning and zoning, then take it on to the, opening it up to the public, and then see what the public likes, what they don't like, and make changes in that draft, and then from there, maybe you go into a more final design.
Mike sent to us afterwards one of the other towns that they worked on.
Yes, yep,
Forget which town.
I do too, but,
Blandford.
no, it was a little north of that, I'm pretty sure.
It'd be nice to look at that again and see if that's the type of deliverable that they're proposing.
Yep,
I'd have to look at both of those, which I've got now,
yep, yep.
and see if that's what they're gonna do, because that looked nice.
Yeah.
They did a lot more than what we need.
Yes.
on that one.
Yeah, and, but I think that we would need something like this in order to make a presentation, because
Oh,
the board
absolutely.
can't make a presentation
But,
like that.
I'm trying to figure out what the definition of what this is,
So,
so we know what we're buying.
yes, yeah.
That's always important. So, did you, if you don't mind me interjecting.
No, absolutely, but,
It's not like we have a big crowd.
no, that's for sure. We've been able to keep order so far.
Okay, all right, so Jim's point, I think, is well made. If you have somebody else's plan to
No,
look at.
well, he provided one that he
One.
did for a town
Okay.
that was
Be
like
nice to get
this.
extra copies so everyone can look at it and see if that's what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
And then maybe there are things that what you're interested in is defined in there, because I mean,
Yeah.
it could
yeah,
just as easily be talking about building
This is
design
a
principles.
proposal, and that's the deliverable, and I don't know what that means yet.
Well, I mean, if you have something that's really undefined,
Yeah.
you're buying a pig in a poke, so.
Yeah, well, basically, Mike made this presentation to the subcommittee.
Yeah, I understand that.
And basically,
And it was a great presentation.
yeah, he did a good job. He did a real good job. And, well, I think he knew his subject, and I think that was the thing.
Yes.
And, so, would you like to, wait till next meeting? Let's review this a little bit more before we go any further?
Well, that's what I would do at home. I'll start trying to figure this out.
Yeah, okay,
You know,
let's do
and-
that.
And maybe
And
we
I-
can all do that and
Yeah.
come to
A conclusion as to what we want. And I think what this is, DEC kind of has to be the leader to go back to the subcommittee and basically the subcommittee say that, they'd like to go ahead with this, but I think we need to have it needs to come from this board.
I'm all for this,
Okay.
just have to figure out what it is,
Know what we're getting.
define it more.
Yeah, yep. And I'm sure that between what we can do and what questions we can ask Mike, and why don't we kind of get our thoughts together a little bit, and then we could get Irene to, maybe we need a meeting with him, or maybe we can do
Well,
it.
that's what I'm gonna say, after we look at it a little bit, then we can decide by phone or however.
Yep.
We can get together and decide,
Yeah.
rather than individually calling him.
No, you
I
can't
don't
do
think
that.
we should do that.
No, you can't, it has to go through one person, and so it's either, be myself or it'll be Irene,
Right.
and, she's on the payroll here, so, we're gonna put it in her lap, and we're gonna give it to Irene, and either we can ask it in written form, and he can respond to it, or we can just ask for another meeting, and I'm pretty sure Mike would be
Yeah.
very reasonable to come down and give it to us with another detail. as
It sounds like he could give us a
interested
visual
in
also.
that.
If he
I
does
mean, they
come
have those
into a
beautiful
meeting,
fields out there in the
shows
back,
us-
which would be great
to show us
location to
examples
do
on a
weddings
video
and,
of what he's done.
and I think that
Similar
Connecticut, I've
examples
had
of what
conversations
this is.
with
We've
Connecticut
got-
One,
this
and
isn't
we need
West
to get
Hartford
that's
to
certainly
everybody.
one of
This
their
is East
areas
Haddam.
that
So
they're
what does he have
interested
to
in.
offer?
Newmax Square, we're
Vision.
designing here.
So I think
Yeah,
there
that
is some
relates to something
interest
similar
in
to
doing
this.
something
And
there.
the one he
Connecticut
gave us for
Landmarks
an
is certainly
illustration,
making
the
a
subcommittee,
big
yeah,
investment
for the
right
town
now.
center.
They're rebuilding their, the barn that has been falling down for years and,
So
it's
let's do that,
actually,
let's, when we take a
they
look
poured
at it,
concrete down
and
there
if
the
you
last
have
few
any
weeks,
questions,
and,
by all means, get
they're
them
gonna
to
build
us,
a new,
and,
building.
and then we'll put it together,
And
and then we'll see.
they are
if,
quoting everything
we
in
need
their,
them to come to a meeting. Would you
magazines,
like
it's a
them to come to a
$500,000
meeting?
worth of improvements.
What do you
that they're
have?
gonna
I
make
think
to
would
that
be
property.
good.
So it's a
Let's see if we
huge
can do-
investment
Whether he was
and,
involved in the Marlboro
and they've gotta
project,
find a
because
use.
Marlboro,
There's gotta
whether
be,
you like
when
it
you
or
have
not,
that kind of an
is
investment in
interesting.
a property,
Yeah.
somebody's gotta
You
come
know,
up with a
Deep
use for
River
that
is
property, and so I
nothing
think
like that.
that,
Done there.
we
Yeah.
need to be
Yeah,
at the
they did-
table
they
and
did a nice job.
offer what we think
Examples.
is
Let's see
fitting,
what he
for the
has
area
offered.
and, what we think is
But I
fitting
guess
to the
I got that
neighborhood.
from
Cause I think we have to be extremely cautious
Or
as
that
to,
other document.
what, we
Mike.
might propose.
Yeah, that came at our meeting.
And anything that's,
Didn't we get that at the
let's say
subcommittee?
Petticoat Lane South, and,
Oh, yeah, and he did send us one,
So
yes.
I-
But,
I think that's
so
how
anyway,
I got
we'll,
it.
we'll
Okay.
kind of keep, you up to
Yes.
date
So
on
you're
what,
We need
I
to
hear
get
when I
everybody.
go to these. I try to go to, as many of
Okay.
these,
I guess I
meetings when they're doing the plan of
What I'll
conservation
do
and
is,
development,
what
cause
he
it's,
gave us,
it's,
at
it's
our
kind of
subcommittee
interesting
meeting.
stuff and,
I'll get,
and it's
a
also
copy
gonna
out
give
to
us a
you,
lot of,
and I'll get a copy to you guys, so you can take a look.
basically,
you have
information
website
as to
all
what
those
somebody
projects
from the
up there.
outside sees
Uh,
when they walk around East Haddam, which is always, I love.
You know,
I'd love to have
those
somebody
made it
else
onto their website or
look
not.
at it.
They're-
And,
they probably just did
and
Blue Black
certainly,
Square.
the other,
Probably on that one.
item that they
But,
brought up
but
and,
we'll
is
get you what we
to,
have, and then
look
from
for
that,
grants to
reading
do
this
the sewer
and what
line
we
and bring
have,
the sewer line up to the
maybe
four
get a little
corners.
idea as to what he was
But you
doing.
can't do it
And then if we
without
want
a
him to come to a
substantial
meeting,
grant to do it.
let us know.
Because the dollars, you
That
can't
sound
get
good to
enough
you?
out of a return out of it in order to do it.
I was just gonna say, if you're
But it's
gonna
in
have
here
something-
and they're,
B&Z is
it's
gonna
one of the
have
things that they have marked to be a, something that we should be
Oh,
looking
gee.
into and seeing if it isn't possible to do. That would
Oh, this is-
also be
Abilities here
something
Yeah.
that would, there'd be a lot of players
Yep.
A nice
involved in that
visual for
to do
either an
something.
audience or at least.
But it's something that somebody who comes in from the outside looks at it and says that, that's something we should be looking
We'll be
into.
involved, because
Yes.
that's where it goes eventually.
So
Well,
what
basically,
I'd
they're
be
on the-
looking
the
for
committee.
is
I
after
know
we
they are,
put
but
some
I'm
of our
saying-
But you want the whole
documents
board.
together that we
It's
make
just
a
like
whole
here.
board
You're gonna wanna
report,
see what presentation,
to
so if you're gonna
send
do
to
one,
P&Z
do a follow-up.
so that
I was
they
just
have a
thinking
good
maybe
idea as to what this
maybe save
commission
it
would
an
like to
additional
see.
step down the road to-
And,
to-
so
I-
from
I-
what I know and what
I
we
think
share
this
around
is the best
table,
way to do
maybe
this
we
stuff,
can put
is
something
doing these
together
with a
that'll-
joint meeting.
I think what we have
so
right
that
now
everybody
is,
gets a
is,
chance to
is
see what it is.
fine,
So
but I think we need to
everybody
just,
knows what we're talking about.
tweak it a little bit.
I think
to,
that's a great
update
idea.
it,
And,
to today,
I will-
rather than what we saw.
First, let's see
the,
what we get out of
2
it,
years
what we
ago.
got for questions, but I
And,
think that
and
would
we
be
had
a
gotten
good
to
idea
the,
anyway.
the
And
whole
let's,
sewer.
let me
and,
see if I can
and I
coordinate
think
that with
that,
P&Z, and we'll have a joint meeting.
there was
with
a joint committee
EDC,
of
we'll take a
planning
look
and
at
zoning
what
and
Mike has
EDC
to
who
offer.
got into that and
that
looked
we'll
at
get
the
to see- we'll all
viability
get to see the same
and
thing.
basically came up with what the
And,
costs
know what
are
we're
and they're
talking about,
actually
yeah.
using.
And I think they'd be
the
interested,
cost.
because,
And,
you know, this has
EDC
come up
and P&Z
at a
joint
couple of their
committee
meetings
came up
now,
with.
and
And,
Yeah,
but they
it
said
goes
basically,
over
you've
and,
gotta do it.
I
with
think they're
grants, and
interested.
The grants have to do
So,
it, but,
let me see if,
I think almost every place you gotta
we
have
can
grants in order to
work
do it.
on that, and I think the
Deep
board-
River has done fabulously with, they're sewering a
P&Z is
lot
not
down
overwhelmed
there,
with
and they've
applications
been
right
doing.
now, so I
doing-
think they
doing
might
very,
like to
very
take
well.
it out. So I really think that's, and I've
Also,
said it
just
the
to
board, that,
give you a little
we
heads
really
up,
need to work on planning. This, we don't have a
State of
lot
Connecticut is
applications.
going to be
So let's work on
repaving,
planning and let's work on it together.
Route
And,
82,
see if we
everything
can't,
from the
you
four
know,
corners
work on the
south
the
going
center
down
of
to
town up here. I mean,
Haddam,
let's
Four
work
Corners.
on some of this
So,
stuff, so
that whole stretch in
that
there
we
is,
are
getting a
They're
better
planning
idea
next
as to
year
how we
to
can,
repave that
do
whole
this.
road right now.
And do it well. I think
So,
that's the whole
on-
key.
on
Let's,
top of
whatever
our
we
new
do, let's
bridges,
do it
we're
well.
gonna have new
Go
pavement.
from there. All right, so that's
All the
what
way
I'll do.
down.
And-
Do we all have?
That's a big,
You were talking about sewer, you were talking about going up in the corner
Get
now and
emails
taking
and
the
print out
right,
a document.
going south.
Yeah. You got that, right? If you don't.
That's zoning stuff there. Basically, the sewers would be basically around probably the industrial
Yeah,
area
that's what I was doing.
and around the four
Because
corners.
basically-
But it has to go somewhere in order to take it.
Yeah.
You know, shag bark, whatever they build
Oh,
out there.
okay.
They
All right.
may
Maybe,
use-
maybe we'll.
What's the best
Yeah, no, you know what, I think that'd be a good idea, and also, we'll get a copy to everybody.
Well, certainly,
And
and I
that
got
way we know
landmarks would love
everybody's
to
getting
see
a
it,
copy
I'm
of it.
sure.
I'll have,
people that
have
aren't
a
here.
sewer line
Yeah,
to look into.
I'll have Irene make copies of
But
that.
I don't think
I
there's
think that's
anybody
much
even
better
saying what it would be yet.
Produce
I think
it,
we're just
and we
looking
get
at
it out
as
to everybody, 'cause
it's
P&Z
getting it
will
up the
get
hill.
a
That's
packet
the,
every
that's
week.
the thing.
And, so I think
That's where
we'll make sure it gets in their packet. And then.
Yeah,
when
that
it
was
comes
what
up
it was
to
looked
meeting,
at before.
You know, I can. assure
So, and it went back to
what we're
money,
doing, and
that
I'd
you
like
can't
to
do it
part.
without heavily
And,
grants to do it.
Okay, and
The
I think it
dollars
makes
just
good
can't be
working
produced
relationship
out of
between
that
these boards, too.
much
And
flow.
I think the more we
Out of
work
the flow that
together,
could come out of the
better
four
it
corners,
works.
you can't
And we were commenting
justify
the other day
the
about
cost of that whole
that,
project.
P&Z
And,
and,
so,
and EDC
until,
working
you know,
well
basically
together. And I think
EDC
this
or
is
somebody
why
goes out
we
and
do
tries to
some
find
joint
grants to
things
do
and,
some of that stuff.
You know, we asked, you know,
That's what
P&Z
it would-
once in
and
a
that's
while to
what they
join
were
us in a
proposing in the
subcommittee.
plan of
And,
conservation
you know,
development.
last meeting, they
That
asked us to, you know,
Somebody
join
go
in.
out and try
I
to see
thought
if they
that was-
could, what grants are
that's a
out
step
there.
in the
what,
right direction here.
The possibility
we're
might
working
be
together
of
on
bringing
all
that
that
sewer.
All right, basically, proposed
that
expansion of
area,
the
but
industrial area.
depending
Haven't
on
heard
if-
anything
if
more on
shag
that.
bark
That's basically
was-
shag bark.
Depending on what they did.
I don't know if they're doing anything
You know,
on
that could be a
or
lot
not.
of square footage.
Let's go into new business, review costs of the Route 82. I think we've already gone through that.
So I
We
think,
know what
you know, there's a
direction we're
few
going
things
in
in
with
the,
that.
in the card game here.
EDC's
it's one of those
meetings
things
for
that, you know, this is
2020.
activities for the next 10
We
years.
got copies of that.
So, it's got a big window
My
to
only
it.
question was,
to
is
look
whether
at.
we wanted to do January 2nd.
All right, next on the
the choice
agenda
is the
is
7th or the 9th.
picking a business for the
But,
January
I
business
didn't
of the
have a
month.
problem with doing the 2nd.
I think that,
If anybody has
Sue and I have
any
talked
thoughts or
about
any of the other
this
dates
and,
that we're
and
using.
have an idea.
Um,
Sue, would you like to?
Certainly, you know,
On
'cause you got
on the
same
list,
thing in July the
right now, we've got iPark,
And,
who we talked about till spring.
people would like
We've
to,
listed some new businesses, we've listed
do
Shag Bark
something
Town
different
Tavern,
there.
Two Wrestling Cats,
Sometimes
Middlesex
in July, if we don't
Medical,
have anything
People's
really
Dental,
a hot
Staley's,
item,
and then
you know,
Nathan
I'd
Hale
like to,
Pharmacy, and Bob and I
skip
had
that
some
meeting if we
conversation,
can't,
and we
unless
really
have
think it would
some
be kinda
things
nice to
really
maybe
going on, but,
posthumously
if
recognize
you
Nathan Hale Pharmacy
we
at this
wanna do
time for
something
what
different
they've done and
with
what they've
those dates,
contributed, kind of in the name of Jack as a remembrance and kind of just a way to put some, you know, EDC behind it and some, you know, attention to.
forget the
what
whole
we really
thing,
do
that's
for
it. I
all
mean,
the
this thing
stuff
isn't
this
gonna operate without
has
you.
done and is
That
doing
happens.
for this town and stuff, so.
There is such an important business for this
You got any
community,
comments
and,
I'm all set.
and I think that we need to
Okay.
recognize that, you know,
Okay.
obviously there's a change
And why
of
don't we just
management
think
coming here,
we're in July, we're
and,
gonna take a
but we
vacation.
wanna let
month
them
anyway.
know
I mean,
that,
if you're on
the
vacation,
community
why can't the rest of us? I'll give you
what
guys.
they
I'll
are
take
doing.
Ah, with pay, I hope.
Take my 2
Of
weeks.
course.
Just
All right, I would
Give
need a
them
motion to approve
And
the,
so,
new
I
meeting
thought that-
dates for
and Sue,
2020?
Motion approved.
Brought it
Okay,
up
we had a
that,
second
that
somewhere?
basically, I thought that
second.
would be a nice way
second
in
it,
which to
and,
let
all right,
them
all
know
those in
that,
favor, aye?
we
Those
recognize the
opposed,
contribution.
okay, that's gonna be our agenda for next
What was it,
year.
37 years or
And,
something, I mean, he's.
Let's see, we got business of the month. We've already picked that business for the month. It was gonna be Curtin
Right, and,
Construction
Great.
Company.
I think we couldn't do it to a more
I think
deserving,
that,
Organization here.
We'll
All
be
those in
picking out
favor of
another one
making,
for
aye?
January, but I think we
I
can.
think
wait
that one's one, I think we
for
could
that.
make it a
I'd like to
unanimous
have Irene's
decision.
input on that.
And then just the last one on the same is the sign for the new
So let's
businesses.
see if.
I went to
I'd like to get a
EMP,
few
local
of them
business,
ahead,
right
so
next
that
to
we
between
can pick
Da
out
Vinci and
some.
Grist.
And,
Um,
I
And
really
he
like
gave
the
me
one
a lesser quote than I had last time.
with
And then it was about $45 above. And then I asked him to, if he could do it a little bit less.
I
So
didn't-
then we
I
just
didn't
passed
know it
these
was
to
there,
Ralph
and,
to look at.
and-
But we're still
and
working
to
on
me,
that, getting
is
a
the
sign
perfect thing for East
with
Haddam.
the
You know,
wavy
they-
flag sign
they
that
were-
says,
they were in
the
their
EDC
garage or
welcomes new
whatever they
business.
were, and then they got a little commercial.
So,
And I just wanted to bring
You
up
know, it's like
one
that
other thing.
next
while we're talking
major
about Nathan
step
Hale.
to get out of the house.
And I have had a
And,
conversation about.
And it was a nice facility.
Doing something
And a nice
for,
little business for
Jack.
East Haddam,
And
I
what
was very
suggested
impressed.
is, to
And,
do a
I think
bench,
those are the kind of things I
somewhere
like
in the.
to know about
the,
out there. And, park up there
So,
in Moodus.
Anybody else
And
have anything they'd like to bring before the board, or any
do something that
comments,
would, I'd like to see us,
getting
EDC
score in
be
here
behind that, and
is
also
a
to
venue.
have,
Yeah.
the business association,
we've
I would
talked
like to
about
pull
it
them
before.
into it,
Matter of fact,
and see if we
We've
couldn't
had,
jointly,
are you familiar with Score?
do
They're
that.
basically
And
retired
basically,
executives.
Oh, yeah.
I
They coach
contacted
new
the
businesses.
family to ask
And
them whether
with
that would
last
be okay
year's
with them.
business expo that we
And,
had, there was a
and
couple of
they
Score
were
mentors that were
very
here.
pleased,
And
and
they basically
so
asked,
they said that they
why
would,
don't we know about
very
this
much
building?
So, memorial bench.
Technology,
A
we got
memorial
facility,
bench, yes.
How come
And,
we're not
so,
putting it out there?
is
And
there
as a
support
town,
around the table
by
that
putting
we
it out there to
kind
Score,
of be the
we're getting all
organizing
these other business
body
owners in
to
here.
do that? And
It doesn't
just to
cost us anything.
recognize Jack as a,
They do it
as
all,
a
you know,
permanent
pro bono, they
sort of
they
thing.
don't pay anything for the Score
I just
events.
think we've all had such,
You're not looking at
good
huge numbers
relationships
either.
with
I think
Jack
the biggest
over a
one
long,
that I've
long
been
period
to
of
is
time,
probably
and,
20 people.
and he was such a
And
generous man.
it's another way to get us out there, get these.
And
reviews.
individually with everybody who walked in the store.
Put us
Well, it
out
also
there.
exposes our,
just a great
our
guy, so-
new
Then
businesses.
I'm just gonna take that as consensus, and that we'll work
Well,
together
something
and,
like what we just
and
had,
basically
Denise.
see if we
I
can
mean, there was
organize
one
that.
that probably
And
could
I'm gonna
utilize,
contact
you
Jess
know,
and
some
just make sure
management,
that,
expertise.
I'd like to have the business
And they're pretty
association,
high
so it'd be
quality
the
people that
two
run
of us.
that sport. I
Right,
mean,
a
they're
joint
successful
venture.
business
And,
people.
and
And I don't care what it is, whether it's the
And
the
I would like
buying
to,
side,
you
the
know, when
selling
we,
side,
Or
the
anything in
accounting
between,
side,
Advertising.
advertising
have a
side.
Name it, they've got somebody.
Yeah,
program
could
or
do
something
it.
going
And,
on there. and
well,
invite
how
the family to
could we
join us. And, so-
basically
But it would be nice if it was
get a
EDC
presentation
and
to
the
our
business
board,
association,
get a,
that did that.
make the
And,
facilities available
So
for
that
them
would be,
to walk
that'd be
through
great, and, so
You would have to talk to Ann.
let's just
Yep.
plan on that,
Forwarded
and,
you her
and then we'll,
information. She's one of the program directors for the area.
see if we can get that
And, I
together,
mean,
I'm
they're
sure it's something
obviously-
we'll probably be doing in April.
I think they're about a
or something
quarter
like that.
out on the calendar.
Looks like we're
as
not
far
gonna be
as
digging a
where
lot of
they're
holes in the
going
ground
for
very
So they give presentations in these
But,
different.
They do.
all right, we have,
So it isn't
some new
just the
business, I'll try to
business
move it
calling
along
them
here a
out
little
for
bit.
assistance. They
Basically,
go out and make a presentation to.
the
And
building
Yeah,
department.
yeah.
Um,
The seminar, they
kind
do
of the
usually an
same
hour,
things
hour and a
that
half.
go on in Chatham, we have in the
Excel,
building
like
department.
you
I don't
name it,
know
they have
if
a
you've gotten any
presentation.
comments, but I'm getting a
And
lot of
they're usually
comments from
grabbing
people
municipal
out there
buildings,
that
they do them in Saybrook
we,
at the municipal
we don't
building.
have access
They do
to
them
a
at
building
libraries,
official.
East Lyme
The
Library, the
inspections
Mystic
are at
Library.
6 in the
I think
morning
even
or
the,
at 6 at night.
Chester
And
Library has done
that,
some.
this is not working.
It's
and
volunteer,
what's going
it's
to
all
happen.
volunteer.
Okay, excuse me, who's got the answer to these?
They're people
How long is
that,
this gonna go on?
most of them are
Well,
retired.
let's, and
But some of
what's,
them don't have a
It's quite
business, but
annoying.
that's just their way to get.
matter of
You know,
discussion
it's
right
all
now.
volunteer.
with the Board of Selectmen?
To these new businesses, because they're, you know, they're, I guess,
likely to be making
MO is they wanna see these people succeed.
Are we actually saving
And
money?
it's a
having part-time
nationwide
building
organization.
inspectors?
And
Probably,
why
he's
not?
busy right now, not for us, he's straight out
I don't care if he's busy now.
I understand.
We have, I mean, we've done amongst ourselves, we've done things, I think we've
Board of
done,
Seas Haddam, right?
mhm.
What we need
We've
is
done the
somebody
business
who's
expo here for the last 2
We're
years,
personally
which
dealing with it.
Yeah.
You're doing it
concurrently
in
throughout the
your
day, we
office.
have
We're
2 or
dealing
3
it out in
different,
the field, right?
one of these
I
type
get
presentations
feedback
going
all
on.
the time.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but they
that's
do
why
it, like I said, at these other
You're getting
towns.
feedback.
And
I'm
it's
getting
not
hit with
all, you know, 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, some of them
understand.
9 o'clock in the morning. some of them
What
all
do we
night,
see
you know,
as
5 to
being
7
the
or 5 to
timetable on
6:30, whatever
doing
the case is.
something
It's
here?
not like we're gonna have to keep the
Currently,
lights on
I would say this
unnecessarily
spring,
at any given day. And like I said,
What type
they're
of change?
scheduled out
sorry?
far enough
What
where.
type of change?
We can
we
plan.
It's not gonna be, hey, can you do this this week?
probably not a
It's
full,
it's not
opportunity.
like.
25, 30
yeah.
hours is all.
I think it is, especially the ones that we're trying to encourage to get their first little, you know, take that next step.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
And
That
not
sounds-
only
get a
that,
storefront.
for our businesses, we can get other businesses in our town.
And I think
to
that's
see
what,
else we got.
certainly,
That's a great effort.
So I
from
think
what
that's
I
something
hear
we
out
should
there,
seriously
and I'm sure
Let
that
me
people are
try-
stopping into your office, I understand, that, are
Let
letting
me
you
give her
know
a buzz and
that,
let's see
it's
what,
difficult
you know, she
to
might,
operate.
how we might structure.
Where do we start?
Yeah, where do we start? How do we structure? it? What could we do from economic
And as I
development
said, there's a lot
to
more going on
basically
now,
make
so-
that happen? And let's see if we can't put on a presentation and,
I
Again,
would just
we gotta
say
get
encourage
publicity out there
as
so
soon
that we
as
know what's going
possible
on.
that we could get somebody during daytime hours, during business hours, to do inspections, because it's very difficult, to,
I'm sympathetic.
On average,
yeah,
only about
and,
4%.
all right,
show up.
then,
So,
maybe
and
at our
that's
next
just the way
meeting,
it shakes out.
you could just come back and give us
So,
a
I mean,
little
they could have
update as
100
to,
people signed
where
up for
that's
this event, which
going,
we could accommodate.
and have a
But
little better
only,
idea as to
20
where
or
we're
30
going
people
with that
actually
one.
do show up.
But I think it's
and
one
that's
that's,
kinda typical. for
Yeah.
something like that.
real important. All right.
And they've even got one that they've been running
The transfer
with
station.
somebody from
Certainly, that's
How
been
do you get your business
a
out?
lot of,
This
a
woman
Board of
from-
Selectmen meetings and
teaches
discussion
things
on
that,
it,
you know,
and,
you can search things
and
for your
I
business
guess,
that I never would've known
Yeah.
before.
there's
And that's
certainly,
that's the thing, again, we're getting.
the
some people
business
who
out
have
there who are
a
very
lot
concerned
broader,
about what's gonna happen.
exposure
with that,
to,
and where it's gonna go,
particular,
and how
they
it's
know
gonna go,
advertising,
when it's gonna
know how to get you into
And I
it.
guess if
Yeah.
you could,
so-
the Board of
All right,
Selectmen,
I will
yourself,
contact Ian,
however,
and I'll
could
take it.
give
We've got
us
all these great toys,
a
but
little
we'll
idea so
replace
that
with
we
them.
can
Yeah.
kind of talk to,
So,
I know you've
I'm
been
trying
talking
to
to
get EDC,
businesses
so all the
that
stuff
are,
starts coming forward
we
and-
have it's a very small group out there, and they're worried.
Just a very brief one. Right now,
Yeah.
I mean, I've used
Maybe
these.
they're
the
angry.
tax is hopper is closed. Gates on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
On the subject of these
I
presentations,
closed
great
it, it's
idea.
unsafe,
Uh,
we don't need what happened down in London,
Typically,
happened, the guy
make
fell
sure
in.
EDC is the
They don't know what
sponsor
the
of it, so
expression
is.
because,
Yeah.
the
Uh,
typical,
we don't need
again, typically, we try and
close the
things that
backside.
aren't directly
We have a
related to
plan
our
for
organization
reversing
that
the
go
flow
down
in
the
there.
range, because
The
this
big issue is
movements
people going in there, they're not getting
oh,
weighted when
very
they should.
frequently booked, so
They're not,
we gotta, that's
being
why
checked for
getting out there a
stickers
good
where they
quarter,
ought to
so,
The questions
your
about
first
whether or
dibs
not
on
you're
it.
paying
Yeah,
your fair
absolutely.
share or you're
Okay,
passing
yeah,
off on
no,
your neighbors.
and
And questions
Linda's
about whether or
always
not
good
you belong there
to
to begin
take and
with.
give us a little idea as what's going on with
Randy
these
Gill
spaces.
came up with
And,
the worst flow.
But I think this could be
Worked
something
very
that
nicely. Everybody goes into
would
the
be a
hopper
good thing
area,
for EDC
and
to
then it's
sponsor.
Yeah,
where
I
they
think
go,
it
and
could
you
help
wait and they're
the
sat down
town,
and you wait.
the
And I've gone down
businesses,
there and I've seen
many
people just
times
blow
over.
past
Yeah,
that
yeah,
scale.
and also make it inviting for
For the rest.
around us. If somebody wants to come from Colchester,
First
fine,
asked,
let them
Beth
come
has
over.
asked me to hold. I
That's
wanted to do
another
it.
business, maybe we could interest them in having their
Just hold
business
off.
over here.
We've had, from the business expo, we had a couple businesses from Colchester,
A whole lot solider than it
East
was.
Hampton, and one from Old
Then we
Saybrook.
reverse the flow.
I
Really?
couldn't believe what.
So you're gonna basically go to the back of the
Yeah.
building now?
And I think that would be the best.
Same
way to
place
get a
we do
business
now,
person
but
into
just,
the
we're gonna take the
building.
first driveway rather than the
Basically get
second.
them into our
Between
town,
the hopper
and,
and
I
the
mean,
recycling
because
bin.
obviously they're interested in growing, or they wouldn't be at a
Right.
score.
Articles that are
So,
here.
there's a good chance to show them what we got, and, we'll have some maps of the
How we got
town
where
and
we
say,
are.
okay, we've got some buildings around here available, what can we sell you?
Got this new area commercially zoned.
What kind of business you got? We got a place for you. We're gonna fix you right up. All right, Jim, you got anything you'd
Yeah,
like
we're
to
gonna
add
talk
before
about the
we?
About going to a bag system.
It's just a comment, I think all the EDC members should go to some of these and see what
See what's there.
they are, so we all have a talking
Yeah.
site
Recycle trash.
Yeah.
about it.
And I think it'll.
And some
Right
of
now,
the
we're
business association
recycling
meetings, we
about
have a
4,000
representation
tons
last
a year,
Yeah.
about 1,000.
Gotta get that.
We get
Just
it-
saying.
we get
Yeah, I know,
it.
you're taking that arm, and twisting that arm of mine, I know it.
Everything.
All right,
Before you adjourn,
And
Yes.
Take a look
I
at it.
just want to point out
bottles,
that I
cans,
believe
all
they're
sorts
gonna be
of stuff.
starting, we have the final designs, or most of the final designs for
Quick as you
the
get it into it,
Shady
by
Brook
selling
Bridge down
bags,
here.
everything
At
goes
the
in the hopper,
intersection
has
of
to be in a
Wigwam, it's gonna
bag.
be replaced.
They're cheap, a buck
It's
and a
gonna
half.
be- It's gonna be
Everything
what we
goes
call
into the
ABC construction,
recycling is free.
accelerated bridge construction,
The
so
idea
the
is
road's
to
gonna be
Get people
cut right
recycling.
off, so you won't be able to come in and
Monitor
go out
what's
and
going
around.
on.
so what, we have to go Joe Williams and around? Okay.
But the thing is that
This is my
as
train
part of
thought
it, they're
here.
also gonna be
In any case,
putting the sidewalk up.
that
So
is something
where
we
the
talked to our
retaining wall
lawyers
and
about
everything
it.
is now, I just saw them,
And
got the
Mr.
plans
Roberts has
today, I
come back
haven't
and said,
seen
well,
them
you
and the
can
details of it,
probably
but they're
just
supposed to
do
be
it.
putting a sidewalk
And just say,
there
okay, now
down
we're selling
across the
bags.
bridge.
Takes
So,
200
that will be
signatures, we
part
go
of
to
the
town
future.
meeting, they'll kill it. That's why the articles, to to explain.
What,
this
what's
way,
happened to
not
the walls, the
persuade
wall coming
people.
The
down?
wall's gonna come down, but I don't know what they're doing, whether they're moving it back for the sidewalk or
Right.
be significant.
Cause there's certainly not enough room in there to that wall in
Not
there.
necessarily.
Where is this going?
Right in front of this building out here, you know, when you pull out of the driveway and you're headed basically
Waste area.
back towards the Four Corners.
Haulers,
Basically,
they
there's the
carry
big
exclusively
stone
material.
retaining wall in there.
Nothing
Right
comes
out.
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
that.
and
And
then
then as
Shady
you-
Brook goes right between
By
Moss and
ordinance,
the
they
road
have the
there,
right
goes
to
down, goes
deposit that
underneath, goes into the
material
pond,
in
and then,
Okay,
so that
We
whole
could
thing's
probably go to
gonna
town
be
Right there.
try to
replaced.
change that, it's been tried before, it
Big
doesn't
box
fly.
culvert.
So the sidewalk is gonna go over the bridge
They
and,
send out
and
letters,
basically
and
get
all
up
of
a
a
little
sudden
further
they go,
there.
Yeah, where it
you
ends,
know
I
what's
don't know,
voted.
but,
Yeah.
like I said,
And
haven't
they
even had
have
a chance to look
agreed
at the
that we
plans.
go to a
Forgot
bag
about
system,
Okay,
they
yeah.
will cease to use the
Oh.
operator.
Is that like a
I
year
agree with
project to
both
build that
Always
bridge?
And Jansky on that.
No, that's why it's accelerated bridge construction,
That got this
ABC.
fall.
I think they.
And we talked about it, and they said, if you
A
go to the
month.
bag system,
How about the
You're
Route,
gonna-
eight- how about the Route 82? It took 2 years down there. They were ABC.
Decelerated bridge.
Wow.
The idea is that everything is sitting on site before they
Rates
start
for
work,
getting rid of waste are
and,
going through the
because they
roof.
don't have to deal with
China
traffic.
does not want
they
our
do it so
plastics
fast.
anymore.
Oh, yeah, it is. What a difference it
Chunk of what we're
makes
getting rid of in
if you don't have to
terms of
deal with
recyclables.
traffic. And that isn't a bad one. To loop around that, I mean, you know, all of us can handle that without any
We're not sure
problem.
where it's
I don't know
going.
if the people in Joe Williams will
We're
like
gonna have to
it.
be pretty flexible.
No, they probably won't like it, but you know.
so we
the
don't really
business
know
up on
whether the
W.F. Palmer
recyclables
will
are gonna
like
be
it.
worth anything, because we
They're
don't know
gonna have
whether there's a market.
everybody go buy their place.
Fingers crossed.
Just an
There
FYI,
are
probably
secondary
either
markets,
this
Indonesia,
summer,
other places.
I think it's this summer,
China.
they've been kicked out.
Stuff is too dirty, don't really
They're
want
also
it.
doing the same thing
My
out on
opinion,
Route 82.
Their
so
own
we won't be
internal
able to go-
economy has reached a point now where they can
We'll
supply
be able to get to
demands
Salem for a while,
internally.
because you'll have to go
They
down
don't
to
need our
Salem
stuff
Road,
anymore.
Essex North.
I got a nephew up in Juneau, Alaska. Worked for
Oh.
Public
They're
Works
cutting
out
Route
there.
82 right off.
It's
at West
one of
Road.
his jobs.
At West
was
Road?
to Go out in the
So,
boonies,
excuse me, Woodbridge.
find
Ted
places
Yeah.
to take the
So
nicely
that,
sorted,
Come around the other way, you'll have to go up
recyclables
Route 11 and come
and
around.
bury them,
Really
just
feel
in
you have to
case
get to
somebody
82,
ever wants
but, That's a long detour.
That's a long.
Very plastic
What
out
bridge are they
there.
working on there? What is it?
Wow.
But it's
Bridge
glass,
upon
metal
the
seems to
8 mile
be
comes through
okay,
there,
Yeah.
cardboard
bridge
seems to be
upon
okay.
Outflow.
Plastics,
I think
you know, those
one or
nice
two, culverts there, too.
Children's, houses, toys, all that stuff, that
All
kind
right,
of fluffy
plastic
they use.
Somebody else has anything to
They don't
throw on
want
the
that,
table
right?
here? I'll look
That
for
had always
a
been accepted of
adjournment.
it, all of a sudden, no.
Somebody throw a
Can't-
motion.
can't use that
Okay,
anymore.
you second
So
it?
they-
All right, all those in favor, aye. I never had anybody vote against that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I know
Rob,
the dumpsters that I
where
have,
is
they
that
don't want
worded?
any plastic. Plastic, they don't want it. And they don't,
Yeah,
put the wood in it, put all that stuff, but they don't
The
want
funny
plastic.
thing is, Connecticut, state of Connecticut passed a law years ago for recycling. And we are required to recycle tin cans, glass, cardboard. Law doesn't even address plastic.
Oh.
I think it was it was passed early enough, so plastic wasn't a big player. And obviously today, plastic is the big player. Curiously enough, our regulations here in Connecticut don't require it.
Well, we'll see, and then I think that need to have a conversation with the haulers, and, because I
Well,
think,
they're on board and we really need to get this recycling thing in place. And I think that there is going to be a market for the recyclables over time. I'm just not sure what it's gonna look like.
who it'll be.
Emmett, you
All
said if they bag, the haulers are gonna be out of there shortly after that? What does that mean?
If we go
They're
to the
gonna
bag
stop?
system, they will stop. They will start hauling, and they can
To-
go wherever they wish. They'll take it down to Essex, they'll take it out to Willimantic. It's gonna be their trucks and they're hauling.
Do we charge them a separate fee here to dump?
The understanding
Why
is
would they drive further than that if you're bagging?
because if we're charging for bags,
Yeah,
now there's a fee for going there, and we're gonna charge them the fee too. It's better for them to do that.
all right, so you're gonna impose a fee along with the bags.
The bags will
Alright,
be a.
I couldn't understand why they
You go to
just leave.
Salem, you can
Yeah.
buy a little bag for 75 cents.
Yeah,
$1.50 for a big one. Portland has 3 different sizes. Columbia tried it.
mhm.
I think they went cheapy with bags, because the big complaint was the bags were all breaking. And
That's not a good way to get
the
started.
thing down. And so I've been looking at the weight of the bags that
Yeah.
various towns use,
Yeah.
and you want a heavy enough bag so it's gonna hold together, so it doesn't create problems for people. You know, there's a lot of subtleties to doing this too.
So there's a legal issue as far as selling bags goes?
We can do it, but we're gonna do it at town meeting. We're gonna go and get the town to support the idea. And there are alternatives if the town doesn't go for the bags, that'll effectively do the same thing.
So the haulers are gonna go to Essex?
But Essex, they can go to
Lamar.
Lamar, they can go wherever they want. That's a decision. They're not bound by any, contract.
So they're gonna charge a hauling fee and a tipping fee? I can't imagine that they're gonna drive all the way to Willimantic.
They can't drive to Willimantic.
They don't wanna do well.
Those trucks are way too small.
So
The-
isn't it a
And
town
the odds are they
obligation
go
to
across the
join
river to Essex,
to Essex?
Calamari. I mean, that's the odd, but they have agreed that they will deal with that. That, and there'll be no expense to us.
Calamari's doing municipal solid waste along with bulky waste?
They-
They have to go
whatever
to
it is, there's something
CRR.
down there. I don't know exactly how it's laid out. We haven't used them. But it becomes their problem, not ours. And that takes away a considerable portion of what's going into our hopper right now.
Yeah, would be a lot.
That's important.
I'm just gonna have a conversation with the haulers, there's two major haulers in East Haddam. So I wanna make sure that they are, as some of the conversations I had, they're very nervous.
My understanding was they didn't want plastic bags in the trash. And of course, in recyclable, we don't ever put them in anymore, we put them in that little barrel you got there, and just dump them in there. But do you want them in the big
In the hopper. That's where they end up
Can I have a
eventually.
motion?
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
And then I read all kind of stuff about it.
All right, I would like to move on here, and basically, we've got we have a position open on this board, and so it's as a regular member, and I would like to suggest Irene for the position. Certainly Irene has worked on this committee, and certainly would be very happy if she was a regular member of our board. And so I'm gonna.
I move that Irene be appointed
I'll
as
second it.
regular.
All right, and although, anybody have any discussion on it? or-
This is a recommendation to the first selectman.
This
to
is a
appoint.
recommendation to the first selectman to appoint Irene. Yes. And, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Look at that, you passed unanimously. I guess we'll put that on there.
Vote.
Another title.
I was gonna say, you didn't vote, Irene.
Do we,
So here's some receipts and money for the,
this is what?
that's just more for Cindy, for the
Oh.
holiday doors.
Oh, okay, there's just checks in here?
There's checks and bills.
And bills, okay. All right, I will make sure she gets it. Any public comment? Rob?
Going back to your tourism discussion a while back, earlier this evening, it does seem like a while.
Yesterday?
It is.
So, I don't know if you're aware, but the 8 Mile River Wild Scene Coordinating Committee got a National Park Service grant for developing mapping for not only the recreation in the area, but coordinating that with tourism and businesses. And we're in the process of doing exactly that, where there'll be, the 8 Mile will be outlined initially, but it will expand to all of East Haddam, all of Lyme, Salem, of course, probably Colchester, and potentially East Lyme, because a little bit does go into East Lyme, and it may expand it into Old Lyme also. But the idea is that when you want to go hiking in the area, not only will you see where you can go hiking, but you'll also see places where you can get food, go to a brewery, you can, potentially if there's someone selling hiking gear, REI or some business like that.
Something related here.
Anything related.
Yep.
And then, but there'll be various layers, so you can do biking, and there's a bike shop in Colchester, a couple bike shops around, and there'll be bicycle, where the trails are, or the bike.
Is this a brochure they're gonna make?
So this will be, basically all electronic and all online.
Okay.
And,
No paper product?
Potentially, but initially they're doing it all online, so it'll be coordinated with like Google Maps. So right now, if you go to a certain area, a business will pop up. So this will all be coordinated through that, and eventually it will, have.
So it'll have links and coordinate points that I can use with the visitor,
You'll
the
be
East
able
Haddam
to
Visitors
just
Guide
like-
that we do?
Yeah, anything like.
So we can interface those better than what we've done
You'll have different
now?
layers
Okay.
for everything. If you want to find a motel in the area, all the motels
Okay.
will pop up, or places to stay. So it's like I said, it's a grant that we got from the National Park Service.
Nice.
Yeah, right,
And,
wonderful.
I thought maybe you had been notified already, but if not, you are now.
Okay, no,
And,
great.
it's pretty, we have, it's being, again, coordinated through the 8 Mile group. And, I think it'll be, pretty, exciting when it's all done.
Now, how can we basically get some
I
information
think
on the
someone-
business?
I thought someone maybe have already been in contact with you, but they will be in contact with you.
Okay,
Okay.
so then we can,
Either that, either through EDC or East Haddam Business Association.
yep,
Or both.
probably both. I think it would be nice if it's both.
I'm
And-
sure it will be.
And that way, we can get the information and make sure the businesses get on here.
So initially, it's just gonna be, and it's gonna evolve very rapidly, but initially, it's gonna be, for example, they just wanted all the trails in the 8 Mile area, or the parks that have trails, or parks or open space that has trails, and then they're gonna expand beyond that fairly quickly.
So will you, like, our timeframe is by April, we'll start redoing our guide, because we're gonna be out again and stuff, so you'll have stuff that we can utilize
I
by
think
then,
so,
maybe?
but you
Okay,
can probably
perfect.
coordinate the whole thing. It's being, the person who's doing it, doing the work is Andrea.
Is this a
Well, she
con?
lives right on the town line of Lyme and East Haddam, right there on, opposite what used to be Jim Moore's house down there, on the other corner. They just painted the house right on the corner of Banning Road and, Town Street. So-
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
she's familiar with the area, and she works out of the extension center over in Haddam.
Oh, okay. Is this basically a subcontractor that would be putting this together, or is this a
Well,
volunteer
it's-
group?
it's-
or-
She's part of, I'm not sure which group she's part of.
But she's the head of this
No, it's
court?
through Pat Young, basically, and the coordinating committee,
Okay.
which I'm a member, and, there's members, Sue Merrill's on it, Bernie Gillis, and some other folks, so.
Oh,
down
okay.
there, so.
Oh, great.
Okay.
All right, no, certainly, that's all good news, and, because I think that's a nice combination, and this is where we're going. We've got to basically sell
Well,
what we
that
have.
was the concept, is that people think that because people are hiking in open space, that it's contrary to having businesses, and I said, no, they're all, and we've said this for years, they're all interrelated.
Right? If you go for a hike, you're gonna need a beer, that's all there is to it.
Or a hard cider.
Right, we'll have that. We'll have that on Petticoat Lane, I think we're gonna have a lot of it. So, well, good, kind of keep us up to date on that, and anything that we can do,
Like I said, someone will be in contact with you to get all the businesses involved, and I'm not sure how they're reaching out right now, but.
all right, well, we'll certainly be interested to participate in that.
I
And,
thought you probably would.
yes, that sounds like a nice combination for us. All right, anybody else have anything they'd like to bring before the board tonight?
I move we
Make a
adjourn this
motion, we
meeting.
adjourn.
I'll second your motion.
All right,
All right. let's get
very
it
good. Thank you very much.
Who's on the committee?
Hold on, hold
Start on this, I'll donate 200.
Okay.
I'll camp out 200.
Let me turn off the.
Yes, if you could.
Then I'll.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
That's what I'm saying, I'll show up.